This podcast is part of the Frederick Podcast Network. Learn more at listenfrederick.com.
That's number one. You kind of reset me.
Painful, tender to the touch. May also
Same shoulder length, and the other. Well, hey everybody, welcome to the Real Health Podcast with Brandy and Amir. I'm Dr. Amir Rashidian, a chiropractor. And Brandy Rashidian is an honorary chiropractor and herbologist and all that stuff, but no official titles, just titles we give her. And
I'm officially a mom.
The master of laughter.
That is true. I like laughing. It's good for the soul.
That's what they say. Certainly better for the soul than binge watching. If you watched the last episode, you know what I'm talking about.
He's still salty from that.
I am very upset about that because other people are going to read that and go, ooh, let's go binge watch. It's good for our health.
Well, wait till you look at the next topic.
Let's quit our job and just watch TV all day. And we'll watch the news too.
No, only half of us are doing that.
Real Health Podcast is brought to you by the Frederick Podcast Network, found on listenfrederick.com, along with YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, and everywhere else you like to find your podcasts. Please, if you like the show, comment and let us know what you like about it, how we can do things differently, topics you want us to discuss, talk about. We love your comments. We read every one of them. And we'd love to respond and correspond with you in any way you would like. We may even start sending gifts and presents to people who, promote our show. So anyways, today we've got a couple of things to talk about. We were looking at trends, like wellness trends, and what are people talking about? And there are three things that seem to be fun topics. One is about dopamine menus. The other is fiber maxing regarding gut health. And the third one is creatine, which everyone thought was just for bodybuilders and people who lift weights. But there's a lot of power for your brain from creatines and creatine supplementation. So why don't we dig right in? What do you say?
I think that's a great idea. We'll start with the dopamine. So when this popped up, I was like, what the heck is a dopamine menu? And then I heard that this was a concept that was born during the pandemic. And I almost just threw it out the window because there wasn't much great that came from the pandemic, except some really good quality time with our family. That was fun.
Yeah.
But
And the police wouldn't pull you over when you're speeding.
that was awesome. Not that I was speeding.
No, I never. Once. Well, I was speeding once.
He's trying not to lie. That's what that looks like.
Yeah. Well,
He's not a speeder, actually.
I don't. But the police came up next to me
Uh-huh.
and said, "Slow down."
Yeah.
But they weren't allowed to pull me over because they thought I probably had a virus.
You didn't.
You know what I'm seeing on cars a lot?
What?
New driver.
Oh, there's a lot
What's
of new
the deal
drivers.
with that? Like all of a sudden, I don't know, maybe like 10, 15% of cars have please be patient new driver. I'm like, is it just because we have a kid who's about to start driving that makes me notice this? Or is it actually like a new trend? Because I see it all over the place. And so that was a fun thing about the pandemic. You drive however you want, you're going to get pulled over. But what if we got a sticker that said, virus inside, do not pull over?
Ooh.
And I think then you could drive however you want and the police wouldn't pull you over because it'd be like, I don't want a virus.
That's possible.
And it wouldn't be a lie because every human being has some kind of virus in them.
You
And
need it.
In fact, 2/3 of your DNA was completed by retroviruses after birth.
Yep.
So
That's why your kids do have to get sick.
that's right. Chew on that for a minute. That should be a whole podcast one day.
I remember sitting at a
Pediatrics conference.
pediatric seminar
Yeah.
and could not believe when that MD got up on stage and started talking
He was a
about
pediatrician from Boston, right?
Yeah,
I
he was
forget his
amazing.
name. We have that recording on file somewhere. I'd love to pull it up
Yeah.
and dissect it for people.
that. Yeah. We got to get a hold of him. Maybe he can come do a podcast with us. We can zoom him in.
Zoomerman?
Zoom him in.
I don't know how you say that so fast. It's a tongue twister for me.
I don't either.
Zoom him in.
Well, so talking about this dopamine. So this article came up and I was like, I wanted to toss it out, but I think it's a good conversation. I'm not going to read through the entire article, but I want to talk a little bit about this. Here's how it starts. It says, what if we could order up joy as easily as ordering our favorite meal? We're going to get to a definition of joy here in a minute because that's ludicrous. Enter the dopamine menu, a tool created in 2020 by YouTuber Jessica McCabe, author of How to ADHD as a Way to Boost Your Happiness. Similar to a menu you'd find in a restaurant, a dopamine menu contains different sections and types of activities designed to fill your day with enjoyment and meaning. Now, 4 years after McCabe invented the Dopa menu, the term has been given new life on social media, with millions of TikTokers sharing their own personalized versions, claiming it has helped them feel happier. So they're talking about creating this menu of things that you can do, broken down into a menu, kind of like appetizers, entrees, snacks, which really is geared towards like how much time you have to invest into those activities to get your release. But these are supposed to be things that you include into your daily activities that give you that dopamine release. My first thought when I heard that is like, are we trying to create a bunch of crackheads? Do you know what I mean? I'm like, what you're doing is you're talking about finding
Coke, chocolate, and sugar all release dopamine.
Yeah, I don't have that on your. Some of them are okay,
That's
but
not on the menu, huh?
don't put cocaine on your menu. But I
Don't put chocolate and sugar on your menu either.
well, I agree,
A little bit of dark chocolate, it's okay.
but I'm a little concerned about this. So when it said, let's see if we can order up some joy just as easily as our favorite meal, I said, let's actually talk about what the literal definition of joy is. Joy is a lasting state of inner contentment, delight, or well-being that isn't entirely dependent on external circumstances.
There you go.
Unlike happiness, which often comes and goes with situations, joy can persist even during challenges. We do not get joy from a dopamine release.
Right.
Joy comes from purpose. It comes from
Identity.
Yes.
Security.
Rooted in something typically not of this world.
Self-confidence.
Yeah.
Confidence in God. In
Yep.
the eternal.
Yep. So here we are again, just like in the last podcast episode, we're talking about all of these like go ahead and just binge watch TV and you know, live in your pretend world. I'm like, what are we trying to manufacture with this? What is it that we're trying to get away from? Why is it that we can't experience joy and peace? They're not talking about peace, so please don't think you're going to get peace through this dopamine release or not. You can't experience those things by continually working off of a list. Okay, time to go run, and I'm going to get that hit. It's going to be great. And then later, I'll read my favorite book, and I'll just stay in my fantasy world for a little bit. That's going to be great. And then if I'm feeling a little low after dinner, I'm going to go ahead and have some chocolate. And then if that doesn't work, like, do you really want to spend your life living from a menu? I mean, there's a lot of people who are, 400 plus pounds that are living from a menu. We're not talking about anything different. It's just a different addiction.
Right.
And that's what we're talking about. So they're talking about, let's create a menu on how we can easily access this feel good feeling. And it's like it's a hack. Which the happiness hack. I think it's dangerous. What are your thoughts? I mean, let's talk about dopamine. Can you share what dopamine is?
There's actually a dopamine hit when your phone dings that you have a new message.
Well, swiping, actually, they have found creates a dopamine release. That's when
you mean like when you're watching shorts, like YouTube shorts?
I think shorts can do it, but it's the actual act of swiping, because they measured that on matchmaking websites.
Oh.
So people were getting a dopamine release just from like scrolling and swiping through individuals. Some people were getting a more of a dopamine release on denying, like going no,
Wow.
then yes.
See, when we met, there was no such thing as swiping.
Mm-mm. Crazy. We did meet on Match.com.
We met online.
Yep.
Yeah, because I was a new doctor, and the only people I was meeting were patients. And I was like, I don't have any interest in dating patients, and it's actually against the law anyways. So I was like, why don't we go on Match.com, and and so I put a profile up, and I thought it was a great profile. I mean, I would have married myself, but nobody would talk to me. So then what did I do? I took my beagle, how old was she at the time? 13, 14?
Yeah.
I
Maybe older.
I put a picture of my beagle on my profile and sent Brandy a message, and she wrote back. And
Did you message me?
The rest is history. Did you? No, did you contact me or I contacted? I think I contacted you.
I don't remember.
Yeah. I said, how you doing?
I said, fine. Okay. Now you know why we're married, because we just entertain each other.
Well, you only started going out with me because I had a cute dog.
Well, you actually said you wanted kids
Yeah.
and you were holding a dog. And so I thought to myself, if he's not a serial killer and he likes dogs and wants children.
Good thing I wasn't holding a kid and saying I want dogs.
Yeah.
That's the exact opposite.
It is. And that would be a different outcome.
Right.
I'm pretty sure.
So anyways, yeah, definitely. I saw Brandy's picture and I definitely got a dopamine hit with that one. Like, this is
Little did you know you get stuck with that for the rest of your life.
This is going to be good. 20 years later, it's still pretty good.
So dopamine. So let's talk about it.
Well, it's released from the brain. It's a feel-good thing. It's respond to good news. So something I know is successful people get a dopamine hit from working towards a goal.
Mm.
And those who aren't successful, they only get their dopamine hit when they accomplish a goal.
Mm.
So then they quit too soon because they're not getting that dopamine hit.
What do you think differentiates the difference between those two types of people?
I think you have to assign meaning to it.
Mm.
I think you're like, I'm working towards something amazing.
Mm.
Like when I was trying to impress you, like I would get a dopamine hit just thinking about you, like calling you,
yeah,
setting up dates with you, like all of that. It's work. I worked very hard. Buying gifts, brushing my hair before we go out on date.
Yeah, thank God.
I worked hard. So
I worked nights. I worked weekends.
Okay, George Bush.
If you guys haven't seen that clip from years ago, you should really watch it because that's funny.
It was during his re-election campaign, I think, because we worked hard.
We worked nights. We worked weekends. Sometimes we had to bring in food.
One thing I'll say that, like I don't think any president has worked more hours than Donald Trump. Someone said on a podcast, they said if you calculate his salary, which he didn't take a salary, but if he did take a salary, it's like $450,000 divided by the number of hours he's working. He's not even making minimum wage because of the number of hours he's putting in. I mean, the guy sleeps 2, 3, 4 hours a night and he's back to work. Whatever. That's not me, but he's getting his dopamine rush somewhere else. But L-Dopa was a type of dopamine, I believe. You remember the movie Awakening? Mm-hmm. Robin Williams movie where the guy was catatonic in a wheelchair, and they gave him this drug called L-Dopa, which actually sounds like a, I don't know, Hispanic dance, like a Latin dance. Let's do the L-Dopa. But but they gave him this drug and he came back to life.
Right.
But then his body acclimated to it and he went back into the catatonic state.
Well, that's what happens too with dopamine.
That's the same thing that happens because you acclimate to it, you get used to it. So here's a classic example. If you eat a little bit of sugar, however form you want, candy, chocolate, you'll get a big dopamine rush. The next day, to get the same dopamine rush, you need double the amount of sugar.
Wow.
The day after, you need 4 times. It doubles every time.
Mm.
Don't get your L-Dopa from sugar.
El sugar. Sorry.
See, now we're speaking Spanish. We got a whole new audience.
Rosa would be so proud.
She'll probably say, what is L-Dopa?
Probably.
That's not Spanish.
So
It's the letter L, by the way, not E-L.
So what we're saying then is like dopamine when you do something you like, when you do something that you enjoy. Well, I mean, I wonder if can you create a situation for yourself that would create dopamine in something that wouldn't have otherwise? Like, can you train yourself? I'm asking for a friend. Always wanted to say that.
I'm sure you can.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I think that to me would be a healthier conversation
right.
because not everybody gets a dopamine release from the idea of going to the gym, so it's hard to even get themselves
Well, I mean,
there.
these things on this document is not that bad. Like he
Right,
goes,
they're not bad activities.
like a hug gives you dopamine.
Right. Which is a great thing.
It's not a bad thing. It's, you know,
So go hug your kids.
3 minutes of music, stepping outside, and those were appetizers. And then the main dishes were more engaging activities like a walk in nature, journaling, cooking. But like some people would hate to journal.
Right.
And some people look forward to it.
Yeah, I would hate to journal.
But there's got to be things that you hated to do before that now you like.
Oh, yeah.
What
For
is
sure.
something like that?
I would say certain like aspects of housework and stuff I used to really, really not like,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't mind them as much anymore. You know what I mean? Like I know ladies, don't be mad at me. I don't have to do laundry anymore. That's just not something I've had to do in many years. But I get there's something that I get by just sitting down and like folding a basket of towels.
Yeah.
Now that dopamine release will go 100% away if you ask me to go put them away, because I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Right.
but there are certain things that vacuuming actually can be a little bit of a dopamine release. Do you know how satisfying that is? Picking up all that little stuff.
I used to clean houses for money. I never got a dopamine rush from that.
Yeah. Maybe you could train yourself. Sorry.
All right. Let us know if your house needs cleaning. We're gonna come clean it and see if we get a dopamine rush.
Yeah, I think there's something more to some of these things.
Yeah,
though,
I
right?
think I'm sure that I can't think of anything right now, but I'm sure there are things that I probably hated doing that now I enjoy doing.
Right.
But what if it's just how you frame it?
True. Yeah. I mean, we talked about perspective, right? Like how you approach something, how you view it, how you relate to it, like all of those things. A lot of times it is a choice on how we do that.
You know, I bet you it's more common to find someone who really enjoyed something, but then it became a chore and they don't like it anymore.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, yeah.
I keep thinking of, you know, professional athletes.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you at first when they were a little kid, they would go out on the field and play their sport. They loved it. It
Yep.
was fun. They enjoyed it. And then they got to a higher level, and then they had to train harder and harder and harder just to make the team.
Yeah.
And then when they made the team, there was all this pressure on them to perform. And then little by little, they burn out. And a lot of
Yeah.
people have talent to make it to the professional level, but they quit because they can't take the pressure anymore. And it's just not fun anymore.
Yeah.
So, but then the ones that still find it fun are the ones like Tom Brady who play an extra 25 years.
I know, it's crazy.
That guy wasn't good enough to make his high school team, and that was a team that went 0-8, and he was the backup quarterback to a team. He was the worst player on a team that went 0-8, and look at who he became.
It's crazy.
But again, it's about how you frame things, and you know, like a lot of athletes don't like to practice. What if you make practice fun?
Right. Well, I think there's a whole other conversation, which is why are you struggling to get joy out of life?
Yeah, if your joy is dependent on your temporary circumstance, you're doing something wrong.
Right.
Joy should come from permanent circumstances.
Comes from
Happiness
within.
comes from your
External,
circumstances.
yeah.
But joy should be something that you carry with you.
So maybe we should be seeking joy, right? Which means sometimes we have to deal with some of the yuck inside in order to get to the joy,
Yeah.
because it is an internal construct. So
Yeah. So, I mean, you kind of wonder, are joyful people born or are they made? You know what?
it's a really good question.
One of our doctors said, I'm going to start going to church because everyone I meet who goes to church regularly seems to have this internal joy that I want. And so he's been going to church like 3 weeks in a row now.
That's so cool.
And he's enjoying it.
That's
So,
awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Read your Bible. There's a lot of joy that comes out of that.
Well, there is something called the joy of the Lord.
And Jesus said, what did he say? You can ask me for anything and I'll do it so that your joy would be complete. I'm paraphrasing, but that's in John chapter 16, I believe. So go read John chapter 16. That's when Jesus is talking to the disciples. He has this big, long speech he gives to his disciples. And that's one of the things he says. So your joy would be complete.
I think we need to be looking at that more and more. This world is not ever going to provide what we need to have that kind of sustainable joy. There's too many ups and downs. Everybody's out for that quick, and they're out for themselves.
Right.
And it's, I hate to say that, not everyone, but this world is made up of a lot of people who don't think beyond themselves.
Yeah.
Which is why this dopamine, I think, hit me so hard, because I'm just like, why is it that we need to create all of these little things to find happiness throughout the day? Like, sit there and create it. Make yourself one of those people. Like, we used to sit and just have laughing sessions.
Yeah.
Which I know sounds absolutely ludicrous, but it's unbelievable when you make yourself laugh.
Yeah.
And you're sitting even with 2 or 3 people, and then you literally, it's contagious. You can't stop. And it like creates this, man, that release is unbelievable. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's plenty of things about you and around you that you can focus on. If you're sitting down right now, until I say this, you haven't been paying attention to the seat that your butt is touching. But now that I say that, you're like, oh, yeah.
I can feel
But
that.
you weren't paying attention to it. So there's so many things you're focused on that you don't need to be focused on. There's things you're missing. We had a exchange student. You remember Sophia?
Yeah.
We had this exchange student. She was from France, and she hated Americans. And she complained about everything. So one day I picked her up after church, Wednesday night. There was youth group, so I picked her up, and we had a 22-minute drive.
She hated youth group too.
We had a 22-minute drive home, and then I picked her up in the Jeep. We have this old Jeep Wrangler, and so as soon as she was getting in, she goes, "This Jeep is so high," and then it's so bumpy, and then she's like, why are people waving at you? Like, everything, just constantly complaining. And I go, they're waving because they're in a Jeep and they wave at other Jeeps. So it's a Jeep thing. You wave at each other. And she's like, why are there so many Jeeps on the road? I go, there's so many Jeeps on the road because you're paying attention to them. You're looking for them now because you know that they wave at you. So you're looking for them. If you look for them, you're going to see them. She's like, that's not true. That's because I'm looking for them. Doesn't mean I see more of them. I go, well, why don't you look for motorcycles? We got 15 minutes left on our drive. Why don't you look for motorcycles, and let's see how many motorcycles you see between now and when we get home. So we pulled into the garage, and I said, how many motorcycles did you see? She goes, none. I told you were wrong. I didn't see a single motorcycle. I said, all right, how many Jeeps did you see while you were looking for motorcycles? She goes, none. There were no other Jeeps. I said, no, we passed 2 more, and they both waved at us. But you were busy looking for motorcycles. So if you're looking for the bad, you're going to miss the good. It's what you're focused on. Right? Focus on something that you're going to enjoy. I read a book called The Happiness Advantage, and it talked about the Tetris effect. You know what Tetris effect is? They had 30 people play 30 minutes of Tetris for 30 days in a row. At the end of 30 days, everywhere they went, they saw shapes.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it was like they were looking at parking lot. They go, oh, if I flip this car over and put that truck on top, I can put 6 cars in this one parking spot. You know, like everywhere they went, they're seeing shapes, buildings, whatever. Everything's a Tetris puzzle to them because their mind was programmed to look for that. And the point of the author was, now what if you're constantly looking for things that make you happy? Blessings from God on a daily basis. And you're constantly looking for it. And you're like, oh, look, that's a blessing. Oh, this is a blessing. You're constantly looking for it. Not only are you going to miss the bad stuff because you're looking for the good, but you're going to fill yourself with good things. And then you program yourself just like the Tetris game.
Yep.
Everywhere you go, you're looking for things that bring you joy. And next thing you know, you're getting some dopamine.
Yep. And what you're talking about really is gratitude, is expressing gratitude for all of those things. And that is the one surefire way to actually build joy in your life, is to exhibit gratitude and to show that, express that. That's huge. So smart thought you got there, buddy. All right. So, I mean, we don't have to keep, like I said, I wasn't going to read this in all because, I mean, they're really saying the same thing over and over again. I think there are fantastic things that you can do that, if you need a little dopamine hit, you know, go take a walk if that's what you enjoy. But don't use this as your crutch. Seek out ways to develop joy internally so that you don't need to spend your entire day looking for your next dopamine hit.
There's something really dangerous that a lot of men do, which is resort to pornography.
Oh, yeah.
There is tremendous dopamine rush with that, which is addictive and destructive, and you can live without it. And I hope you do. So be super careful with that.
Agreed.
Fiber.
Everybody loves a good fiber.
So what about fiber? They talk about fiber maxing. It's a trend maximizing daily fiber intake.
Some people don't even fiber min, let alone max.
Yeah, you're right. So you know what I do is I take a scoop of fiber first thing in like 20 ounces of water on an empty stomach every morning. And actually they say that acts like the GLP-1 drugs.
Yeah. What kind of fiber are you doing? Because I know there's probably a lot of people who are going to say, oh man, that kills my stomach when because there's different types of fiber.
Yeah.
And some, I mean, people are probably thinking you're doing a scoop of Metamucil or something.
Oh yeah, no, this is natural stuff, herbal things and vegetables and things like that.
Yeah.
It's a combination of whole food natural fibers in powder form. I'm not going to recommend the specific brand. Just look, if you recognize the ingredients. Psyllium husk is one very popular one. I never forget a chiropractor friend of mine. This is a little gross, so you don't like gross things, turn it off.
Mute.
Or pause for the next 30 seconds. But he had shoulder surgery, so he said, so I'm going to start taking a lot of psyllium husk for the next couple months. I go, what are you talking about? He goes, it makes your poop clean and you don't have to wipe as much. Because his shoulder, his arm was in a sling, and he's like, I can't wipe. So he started eating a lot of psyllium husk, and he said you don't have to wipe as much.
Well, that's your tip for the year. You're welcome. That's a great tidbit.
A little disgusting. Sorry about that.
It's okay. This is a health podcast.
Yeah. But this is how chiropractors talk to each other, and this is what they think about. You ever want to get a glimpse into the life of chiropractors? There it is.
I mean, in the challenge, most of us aren't getting nearly the fiber that we need, because the reality is the vast majority of everyone is eating a high amount of ultra processed food, and
there's no fiber in that.
There's no fiber in that.
There's no food in that.
Correct. Let alone fiber.
There's no nutrition in that.
There's
but
no F in that at all.
Fiber keeps things moving. And there's two types of fiber. There's soluble and insoluble fiber. So both are necessary. Mm-hmm. So soluble fiber is found in like carbohydrates, like whole grains, things like that. Mm-hmm. And then insoluble would be in vegetables like broccoli and kale and cauliflower. Mm-hmm. Brussels sprouts.
I love Brussels sprouts.
Asparagus.
I love broccoli too. Yes. So
And this one
Chia
talks
seeds,
about chia pudding, lentil-based dishes, whole grain sides. Try swapping refined carbs for vegetables or beans. Oh yeah, I forgot beans have very special type of fiber. Midday.
What was it? Beans, the magical fruit. The more you eat, the more you toot. That was from childhood. Can't remember how old I am, but I remember the bean rhyme.
Brilliant. It says a midday psyllium shot. If you tolerate the texture, it can be an easy fiber top up.
What's a psyllium shot?
Psyllium husk is what I was talking about.
No, I know, but a shot of it.
I don't know.
Saying, is it liquid? Is it like an injectable?
Every psyllium I've seen has been powder, but I don't know.
Interesting.
Maybe you mix it with water and shoot it.
Maybe. All right. So add that into your daily. Get more fiber.
Get more fiber.
It's important.
And toot.
Or don't. That's fine. All right. What about some creatine? Some people call it creatinine.
No, creatinine is something totally different.
But some people say that.
Well, they're wrong. Creatinine is found in a blood test.
Right.
And it's a measure of kidney function, how fast you filter out creatinine. Creatinine is a byproduct of protein digestion, and your kidneys are supposed to filter it out. And so if there's ratio of blood, urea, nitrogen, and creatinine, if that ratio is too high, your kidneys aren't working very well.
I love when you talk science.
There you go. We need a minute now. First, Sean calls a timeout. Now I'm calling timeout.
So let's talk about creatine. You said it's good for the brain.
It is. And in fact, the recent thing I saw about it was it combats sleeplessness. Like if you're not getting enough sleep, if you take 10 grams of creatine, you function better. And you don't notice the lack of sleep as much.
Oh, really?
That could be why I can go on little sleep
Probably.
And still function.
Yeah. Huh.
I mean, I'm
need that.
functioning all right.
Yeah, you function.
I got joy.
Got joy.
I got peace.
Like a river. Joy like a river.
My peace I give to you. That's what he said.
Mm-hmm.
So the creatine, long championed in fitness, has now crossed over into mainstream wellness for its cognitive and mental health benefits.
Nice.
And they're saying even technically women benefit more from taking creatine than men.
Oh, sign me up.
Now, the original reason bodybuilders take creatine is because it pulls water into your muscles. So it makes your muscles more full. It does increase muscle size and strength. So people, and then in the old days, we would load. They would call it creatine loading, where you would take 5 grams 5 times a day or something like that for the first 5 days. And you're supposed to load the body a lot, and then you go down to a maintenance dose of 5 grams a day.
And what's that do?
It doesn't do anything. It's not. But that's what bodybuilders used to do.
Interesting.
We would load before. I mean, look at me. I'm not a bodybuilder, but
Yes, you are.
but I talk like one, and I act like one on podcasts.
you spend a good amount of time there. You are building the body.
Building the body. So
it's good for physical performance, brain and cognition.
Yep.
Right?
Supports ATP energy metabolism in brain, potentially enhancing memory, focus, and fatigue resistance, especially under stress, sleep deprivation, or aging scenarios. This is another reason I stay young. I've been taking creatine on and off most of my life.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Neurologic and metabolic health as well. So possible support in managing symptoms, I can't speak, of brain injury, reducing fatigue, and aiding in blood sugar regulation.
And that fiber does the same thing. Fiber manages blood sugar too.
That's awesome.
So fiber first thing in the morning, and then creatine, you can take 5 grams before your workout, or put 5 grams in a solution to drink during your workout. You could do that as well.
Love it. So hopefully a couple of good things that our viewers can start to do to move their health in a good direction.
Right. Speaking of move, we're going to go meet the new coach.
We are.
So that's right now. We're going to go. That's why
Gotta go.
that's why I put on a tie. So I'm going to go meet the new coach of
We
the
thought it was for us, didn't we?
Frederick. Nope. Frederick Flying Cows have a new coach, and we're going to go meet him and find out how we can be of assistance to the team and the players and go from there. So there's a press conference actually in a few minutes, and then there's a meet and greet and so on. So we'll fill you in on that next time we're on camera with you.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolutely.
And we will see you next time.
Yes. Join us.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yes.
Yes.
Live radio, local podcasts, the Frederick Podcast Network at listenfrederick.com.